If you followed my latest episode, you've seen how my first luxury watch has been an Omega Speedmaster. And right after a month and a half after I bought that one, I went into an Omega boutique to ask for a bracelet for it. I'm a basic bitch. Hey folks, I'm Em. Welcome back. In 2021, Omega introduced a new model for the Speedmaster Professional, the legendary Moonwatch, as they like to call it, and remind us every single time. Which comes with a few variations, some of them quite significant. The first big change is the movement. Calibre 3861 marks a departure from the older 1861, while not being a 3-to-1 movement, but also it's not 12K, offering a new coaxial escapement, a silicone hairspring, and a longer 50 hours power reserve. It is also much easier to wind and much prettier to look at. It's been refined to a higher standard than its predecessor, which makes sense given it's going to be appearing in more open-backed models. It is META certified, and thanks to the silicone hairspring, it's anti-magnetic to up to 15,000 Gauss, although who needs that, really? The other big change is the bracelet. Oh, this bracelet is brilliant. The only downside that I could say up front is that it does not have a quick adjustment, but that said, it's a 5-link bracelet which looks beautiful, it's smooth like butter, and just try it, trust me, try it on. The watch comes in two configurations. The first one, the Sapphire sandwich, is the one that I am showing you here. The other one is the Hesalite version. The main differences is the Hesalite version comes with a closed back with a more classic engraving behind it, a Hesalite crystal, which will scratch much more easily than a Sapphire, but it will be able to be buffed out. And it's generally regarded as the more classical and true to the original Speedmaster Moonwatch. The version I have comes with 2 sapphire crystals, one on top to cover the dial and one on the back to showcase the new movement. I decided to go for that one as I am a vain bitch again. I decided to go for the sapphire sandwich because I just love looking at that beautiful movement. It's still not one of those deep movements like Langa does, but for the price it's an insanely beautiful movement. The box it comes in is also slightly different than the previous Moonwatch. While on the earlier version you would get a bigger box with a loop and a nice metal plaque, on this version you don't get any of that. You get a slightly smaller box. However, it comes with a pretty color booklet that shortly explains the history of the watch. The biggest difference with the previous version, you get a useful and nice travel case. Well done, Omega. How does it wear? The Moonwatch is among the sportiest of looks for the Speedmaster. It's got a completely matte dial, hands included, which are all lume the hands. And it suits itself more to a sportier or casual dress style, although it will definitely not disfigure under a cuff. But it's not a watch that I would use for a dress occasion myself. It's still coming in as a 42mm case size, and it is slightly slimmer than the previous generation. Even a tad slimmer still if you get the Sapphire sandwich version, which is the one that I have. Comparing the Moonwatch to the first Omega in space, they seem very similar at first glance. However, the more you look at them, the more you realize they could really be further apart. The Moonwatch wears overall slimmer, and the light reflects all over the case, whereas on the first Omega in space, it's more reflected on the face instead of on the case, which results in a really completely different look when wearing the watch. I've been using the Moonwatch for more everyday occasions, and for when I needed a bit of a fancier fit, I went for the first Omega in space. Some people would argue that a simple bracelet change would still achieve a similar result. However, the way that the case is constructed, it really makes a difference. The Moonwatch is not as elegant as the first Omega in space. So, am I going to keep the Moonwatch? I already have a Speedmaster, why would I need 2 of them? I'm still not sure, to be honest. I don't know. I have no plans on selling either, especially not the first Omega Space, as it is my first luxury watch and everyone knows you never sell it. But I've been thinking about selling the Moonwatch, maybe replacing with one of the other watches in my wish list, which there's plenty of them. But it just serves a completely different purpose than the one that it already has. So I would say, if you already have a Speedmaster, especially one of the older generation, is there any point into upgrading to this one? Maybe not. If you have any other variation of Speedmaster, which is not the Moonwatch, you might want to go and have a look at it. Maybe try it on. You might be surprised. While looking at Omegas at the boutique, I also had the same feeling that I had when looking at them online, which is what I call the Omega variation paralysis. There's way too many of them. It's so easy to just look at one and be like, I want that one. Then you look at another variation, it's like, oh, but that one has got a slightly broader arrow, and it's got a different back, and it's got a different date behind, but it's the same. I don't know. I think it would do Omega some good if they started consolidating their collection in slightly fewer pieces and slow down the constant release of a limited edition after limited edition, because otherwise, after a while, no edition is really limited or special, or ends up feeling that way. For example, I would love one of the new 57 broad arrows, or a 3-1, or you get the point. In all, I love my Moonwatch. It's a completely different watch than my first Omega in Space, and I did not think it would hit me that differently, nor wear that differently. So, despite the variation paralysis that I spoke of earlier, I still do understand the Omega collectors that cannot wait just getting one after the other, after the other, after the other. But I promise you, this is my last Omega for a while. At least for a little while. Something else I wanted to touch on is the fact that I've been hearing people complaining about the fact that Omega has been increasing prices steadily over the years. But to be fair, I don't see it as much as today's prices being too high. I just consider it as being the previous models being complete steals. You could get a Speedmaster Professional for £4,000. Nowadays, you're looking at 6,000. It could be the ultimate watch for chronograph lovers, as it's got great heritage, great movement. The only thing that I could think of is 50 meters water resistance, maybe, could be bumped to 100. I'm not really sure why Omega still hasn't done that. Maybe because they're thinking that it's gonna cannibalize their sales of the Seamaster line, but it's a completely different watch. In any case, you're still safe to have a shower with it. Just don't swim in it. Another great thing about the Speedmaster is the abundance of deals that you can find on the pre-owned market. As long as you find the Speedmaster you like, you can pretty much find one for the price you're asking. Folks, this was my journey with my Omegas. I do understand now why it's considered one of the classics to have in every watch collector's box. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, press like, leave a comment, subscribe, so you're not gonna miss the next one. Because next time, we're going horlogerie.